Oh, 1964, July 26th. I know that for a fact because that was my girlfriend's birthday. She was mad at me because I showed up a half an hour late from the show. Actually, I consider myself a godfather. Bernie Bubness and Ron Frackin, they came up with the idea with Len Wein, who they had problems with, and he asked me to come over and help him. And that's where I turned around and got involved. I was one of those guys juggling everything. I was going to college, I was working full time, and I did a comic book convention. Whoa, can't be. Don't forget, we had the World's Fair that year. So cool. I was the old man of the bunch. I was 19. I was an old man when I went to Vietnam at 20. That's think about it. That's the reason why I was invited to come, because Bernie and Ron were too young to get a place. Yes, he was. I refuse to speak ill of the dead. All right.
Did he get fired? Did he get fired?
He was voted out.
Voted out. Did he come up with the name Comic-Con?
No, that was Ron Frackin.
That's right. Okay. I was gonna say, was it because the rumors were that it was Len Wein, or that it was the magazine Spotlight?
No.
It was Rod Frackin. Okay.
Yes, but actually that came from Kurt Swan. Kurt Swan, they had a science fiction convention, and they did it in front of the giant robot. He turned around, Mr. Swan says, "You know about the giant robot?" I said, "You big monster, wasn't he?" Yes, that was our first tie-in, but we realized there were too many people coming in by air. We had people out of state come to our convention, and people from Long Island would be too much of a drag, so we decided to go to the capital of the world, New York City.
It was a workmen's union.
Yes.
What was the building called?
To be honest, it's been so many years.
The Workmen's Circle Union Meeting Hall.
Yes.
And it was on the second floor. It wasn't the first floor.
No, it was the second floor. It was fun bringing all those milk crates upstairs. Everybody didn't realize. What? No elevator? I'd say at least 60, to be honest.
60? Okay, cool. And how long did it last? Do you remember? Was it like 5 hours, 10 hours?
It was about 7 hours.
7 hours? All right, cool.
We had planned for Mr. Gill to be a comic artist. Ron Fratkin managed to get to him and bring him over, and he did a demonstration and handed out original artwork. And everybody went crazy for that. I got my, I originally had Maverick. No, I originally had Fury, and I traded for a Maverick piece of artwork. Yes, it was. I sat down and missed the whole show.
Or a lot of it, right? You went in some of it, right?
Yep, I promised I'd keep an eye on it, and I was very faithful to it. I had to have someone else stand next to Steve Ditko because he was nervous about the people.
Okay. Did he say he was going to speak, or no, he wasn't going to?
No, he did not want to speak to anybody. I managed to have him talk with one of the people that he knew, but he just wanted to wander.
And that was the only comic convention he ever attended, right?
That's right. That was the only one. It's a shame.
It's a shame. Wow. Did he do sketches and give out sketches?
No. What had happened was we went to Stan Lee, and we were asking for original artwork or scripts, and well, we don't give them away. So we turned around. He ran in the back, and if you went to Marvel, you got a little flyer. One was the Fantastic Four, which was Jack Kirby, and the other one was a beautiful Steve Ditko flyer. And I had a whole stack full, and we were handing those out with one piece of original artwork.
Nice.
Then I ran from there. I went over to D.C. and I saw Mr. Swan and Mr. Kubert. Just so many great people, and they handed me a stack of original artwork, and they said just hand it out.
Oh, beautiful, nice.
And that was the fun of it. We were paying the butts, but they accepted us. I found out years later on from Mr. Joe Simon that usually the kids like that were them. They original. He says, I'll give you an example. I hired Joe Kubert. Why? Because I liked the kid. So in other words, I missed my opportunities to be Len, who couldn't go to Vietnam, couldn't go into the war, wound up being a writer.
Nice.
To be honest, I couldn't recognize any of the faces now. We're talking about 59 years.
Gotcha.
Now with Marvel, we were the woodchucks. We used to bring original artwork in. We'd either bring it to Marvel or we'd go to Franklin Square where Mr. Stan Lee lived. And when it came to DC, they were compliant. They used to have a thing like the train company. I'm trying to think. There was a toy train company. They used to have a convention, and you walked around. What they did with us was they had the whole working area. In the middle of the working area was a big, giant wooden desk, and we could go to certain artists and certain writers. And unfortunately, there was one editor that gave us the nickname Marty Pesto. We were pests. If you'll take off the M.A., Marty was Artie the Pesto. That was Jack Shept. He didn't like us hanging around. No, neither. Well, Jack was busy at work at home, and Stanley was sent Flo.
Flo Steinberg went.
Yes.
Secretary.
You have to remember, Flo was basically the young lady that Spider-Man was interested in. If you looked at the cartooning of her, you will find that it's almost the same thing. Yeah, no, not Mary Jane, Betty. He showed up, but we didn't make him as a guest of honor. He showed up.
That's a big one. That's a big catch right there. How about Carmine Infantino? Did he give you artwork and show up, or he just?
He gave us artwork and he sent a note. Oh,
Carmen.
Mr. Infantino gave us the artwork, and I had Viking prints by Joe Kubert.
How about Julius
See
Schwartz or Bob Kane?
See how thick this is? That's the amount of artwork I brought.
Oh, nice.
There had to be at least 75 to 100 different pieces of art. Julie Schwartz, no, but he's the one that, as I said, stated, make sure they're taken care of. Bernie got him angry at one time, and he threw his World's Fair flyer at him. Bernie would just every once in a while get somebody rustled, and unfortunately, it happened then. But we had great relations between both the companies. We actually, as I was mentioning, in DC, it originally was next door to Archie comic books, and maybe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But all I went over was found out how Jughead was doing. That's a legend, to be very honest. because I was upset. I missed out on Fantastic Four #2. And I was mad that I had to pay $5 for a Fantastic Four #2. Talk about hindsight. But no, there was no Marvel original artwork. That was a big thing. Marvel kept all of their artwork. That's was one of the big fights that Mr. Kirby insisted on getting his original artwork back, because he realized how much value it was. I made that beautiful looking button. Actually, that was my own fault that this button was made. I forgot to turn around. I had Mr. Swan give me a picture of Superman, and I had Mr. Ditko give me a picture of Spider-Man. We were going to put it in, but the button guy wouldn't give it to us because we didn't have the copyrights. So we did a quick change and did Comic-Con 1964. No, basically it was all older comic books. There's one, we used to make a deal. I worked it out with DC. I could go to Capital Comics distributor and I could buy them at a certain rate. And it was the same rate as the newspapers, newsstands would get. And then later on, I got a little more of the discount because I never returned them. Phil Seuling was definitely there. He grabbed a whole bunch of the buttons.
And how about
Claude Held, I was there. That was
Malcolm Willits? Was there a Malcolm Willits there?
Yep.
From
Howard
California?
Rajewski. Yep. As I said, Rajewski was there. Claude Held was there. That's another mystery I will take to my grave. It's an incident about a missing comic book. That's one of the reasons why people always got nervous when they went to Howard Rajewski's house, and he always hung around because he remembered the problem at our first Comic-Con. Afraid so. Yes.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
He sat in the middle. I actually stood up in the middle and was talking with everybody. We had chairs and the display in front for Mr. Held, and he displayed some of the stuff. But the other people got up and talked from their chair. He was there. I don't know if he got a chance to talk. Larry Ivy. Yeah, Creepy and Eerie, which many historical years later on, people were inspecting the Brooklyn Bridge and they were checking inside the columns. And that's where all of the Creepy and Eerie comic books, magazines were stored.
Was it like an urban legend?
No, there was a fact. They stored them there. That's not an urban legend. It did happen. Yes, he did. He was actually joking around with the kids, not realizing that that he had such a large group. Matter of fact, that was the one thing Mr. Ditko said. That many people are showing up? I said, yes, people want to see what's going on.
That's the main idea of the convention?
Absolutely. Interaction. We had, as I said, the only one that I had a little trouble with is Mr. Ditko. Let us say he's a little shy, but he did talk with one of the people because he knew him, because he met him at his studio. Don't forget, almost everybody saw him at his studio, but very few people met him at his house. He was very, very personal about that. It was like Roy Thomas. Roy wouldn't turn around and just bring anybody to Greenwich Village. He knew I lived in, I had a place in Greenwich Village for a short time when I was going to college. No, unfortunately, there's two of us were Vietnam veterans. Ron was too ill, and someone managed not to get drafted. Bernie was in the Air Force, and he had a bad incident over there.
So you and Bernie were drafted.
No, I was one of those guys that
You
enlisted.
volunteered.
I volunteered. When it comes to Purple Hearts, you're stupid enough to get not duck. Army Commendation Medal, Bronze Star, Silver Star, Purple Heart.
All right.
They're not my medals. They're John's medals, Sal's medals. I could name the whole team. I'm sorry. I keep telling everybody Bronze Stars, Silvers, they're not your medal. Here's your team medal. I'm trying to think of the last gentleman who was a World War II veteran. He turned around and he says, I wear this Congressional Medal of Honor because of the guys that were killed in Okinawa. In other words, it wasn't his team medal, it was somebody else. I started comic book conventions the week. My wife got me into it because what had happened was I turned around and I was working for A&P at the time, and we were on strike. And I wound up selling my Wonder Woman #1 and my Sensation #1. I paid the hospital bill and the doctor bill. And gee, why don't we try for selling? We did a collectible convention in Green Acres. And we had 2 coin dealers, 3 stamp dealers, 8 comic book dealers, and 1 record dealer. And we did phenomenal. So we hunted around and we found one place one time. And then we were in Nassau Mall for a short time. Then we moved to East Meadow and we were there for almost 20 years. We had the basement, people came around, and my guy that I was working with, he moved upstate and I was too busy with work. But we just had to drop it. I love these small ones. I can't afford the big ones. Don't forget, I'm retired. $100 is $100. I can come here and just enjoy myself. I don't know how they got the shoehorn to do it. I was in Japan when we used to get on trains, and that was terrible. Actually, I'm looking for some modern ends. I'm looking for Danger Trail #4, the second series. That's 2 of my favorite people. Len Wein did the writing, and Carmine Infantino did the artwork. It was a King Faraday story. And I just finally completed 1 collection. I found my Justice Society versus America. I finally found my issue 2. Now I'm just come across Superpowers. It's a kid's book. Yeah, but it's got Jack Kirby in it. Wally Wood was a great artist. Hal Foster. Look at all of these greats. Jack Kirby, truly, I don't think was a comic book artist, but he was a great creator. You know, I have a piece of artwork, I can't tell the difference. Jack Kirby did a newspaper strip for a short time. It was about outer space. And the inker was Wally Wood. You couldn't tell the difference between Wood and... That's a Jack Kirby piece of artwork? Impossible. No, there's no... Everybody has different tastes. People like coffee, people like tea, people like Coke, people like Pepsi. It is what you truly like and you want to collect. That's the best.